Yeah, but Christian was suggesting that we always like kind of go into stuff
Did
so
you
it's
start
ready.
it?
That's like not what we're just kind of like talking, like, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right. In other words, once we go on, it's,
Who's Christian?
my good friend.
I actually think the opposite of that because people wait to start because they're waiting for people to come see. Maybe not right now because we're via YouTube, but like when we're on Facebook, we're
Yeah.
waiting to gather
For
views.
people to come
That's
on
why.
in. I
Yeah.
agree, but,
Do the same thing with YouTube, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I just feel like that
Right.
doesn't make
Streaming
sense.
already, by the way.
he just.
Well, Christian. Fam, I'm gonna kill you. Yes. It's Tuesday.
It is now 8 p.m. in Moscow. 8 p.m. in Moscow. Daylight savings, y'all. It's a little bit light out there in Moscow. So, you ready?
Hi.
Let's do this. Let's kick on in. Let's talk about it. Back to back, Jack. We are here. We are talking Convo Couch exclusives. Late last night. Our regular scheduled time today, a little bit late. We're on 10 o'clock time instead of 9. Mr. Ron Pacone is doing aggressive progressive, so we figure we go on a little bit later so we can get a little extra sleep. And there's a lot of stuff to unpack, a lot of stuff to talk about, right, fam?
Right, fam. So I'll let you lead the way on this because you wanted to talk about a couple things.
Yes, I did.
Since I'm always talking so much.
Yes, you are always talking a lot, but you know what? I'll talk a little bit today. Let's start off today with Iran because just the other day, President Trump said he's going to unleash and enact the biggest sanctions on Iran yet. So I think a lot of you, and I've seen a lot of people who might not know the history of Iran, kind of get upset and mad, even liberals on the left, about the Iranian parliament, them burning our flag and burning stuff with America. Well, let's go back because I want everybody to understand how we got to here because it is 2018, but this all started back in 1951 after World War II. The Iran's elected prime minister, his name was Mohammad Mosaddegh, he nationalized the Iranian oil industry. In other words, he was going to take the oil, give it back to his people, enrich his company, and kick the West out. That didn't go well with the CIA. So in 1953, they overthrew him, and they replaced him with somebody known as the Shah. The Shah was kind of had like Western ties. He was very much more like a prince of sorts, and he ruled until 1979. So from 53 to 79, 26 years they were under the Shah's power. And the Shah was just a puppet. He gave American interests their money, British interests their money. Their companies came in, took the oil back over. It was private companies. And he also had hundreds of thousands, almost 100,000 political prisoners that opposed him. Which I think we've said before, if you make peaceful protest
A peaceful revolution impossible. You make a violent revolution
inevitable. So in 1979, they started following the Ayatollah Khomeini, who is now, he was in exile. He returned to Iran. The Shah escaped. They overthrew the country, and they inserted the Ayatollah Khomeini. So from 1979 until now, the Ayatollah Khomeini's been there. But he was just a product of what we did to the country, what we done. We had implanted the Shah. We took their oil. We pretty much stole their national resources, and we've been putting sanctions on them ever since. Even when the hostages were taken, there were 55, I believe 52 to 55 hostages that were taken by the University of Tehran students. They wanted the Shah back. Carter refused to give the Shah back. He freezed about $20 billion in Iranian assets, and have just been sanctions after sanctions after sanctions after sanctions after sanctions, which leads us to now. The Iranian nuclear deal was struck. There was finally some progress. This was within the international community. Our European allies wanted this. And what did President Shit for Brains do? Sorry, don't mean to say that. Trump, and I say this because, he campaigned as a non-interventionist. He acted like we were going to start pulling out of these areas, but he's just allowing the deep state to do what they want to do.
Right, exactly. I was just going to say that. It's obviously not him in charge. And we've heard this from Assad himself. We've heard this from multiple people. The military-industrial complex is the one in charge right now.
They're calling the shots.
And it's just, I mean, and it's like, you know, Republicans always talk about a big game, about, you know, he was a bulldog, he did this, he did that. But at the end of the day, it's all talk because he's not even in charge. So
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things to come to within the country. We just seen a change of power in Cuba. The Ayatollah Khomeini is he's getting up there. You know, and it's kind of this old what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a secular rule. It's like an Islamic kind of rule mentality.
Oh, okay. So it's
like
religious,
it's a religious
fundamentalist mentality.
And that is kind of getting removed a little bit by little. I mean, Iran has these protests every year, it seems, or every other year when there's a presidential election or something going on. The young kids of Iran are taken to the streets. But it's going to be very interesting because now the walrus, John Bolton, is it John Bolton, Ramsey Bolton? There's a Bolton.
Worst Bolton.
The worst Bolton, you call him Eva Geppetto, is now calling shots. And he's publicly come out and said he wants to be involved with regime change when it comes to Iran. So, buckle your seatbelts. It's going to get crazy over there.
So what are the Democrats doing about this? That's what I want to kind of shift into.
The Democrats, you know, instead of trying to really be, I mean, first of all, they're not an anti-war party. When it comes to the leadership of the Democratic Party, there is a small movement within the Democratic Party that is anti-war.
They just voted for Gina Haspel's confirmation.
Yeah, and the guys, a couple of the Democrats that allowed it to, you know, happen, that approved, they said, well, listen, they believe that President Trump won the election fairly and he has the right to his appointees. But no, when it comes to a situation like this, when you have people like Ray McGovern getting tackled to the floor for trying to speak the truth about torture, you know, and once again, go back years ago, Nancy Pelosi's known about torture for 10 years now, for over 10 years. Has she intervened? Has she stopped? Has there been an outcry from the leadership of the Democratic Party about torture? I mean, where are their values? Where do they stand? I'll tell you where they stand on giving us a better deal.
A better deal. Because that's just what America needs. A pro-war, pro-spying, pro-Wall Street deal. That's what is going to help the American people. And that's what they do. They continuously do this because they say, oh, it's a better deal. It's not the real deal. It's not the new deal. It's just a better deal.
Yeah.
And the worst part is they take everything from Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the one that was speaking about a FDR type of New Deal, an FDR type of a socialist, democratically socialist revolution, which is where that comes from. And the Democrats are actually taking that while simultaneously fucking people over.
Yeah.
And that is, to me, worse than just being a Republican and being a complete asshole, because you're pretending to care about the working class, about the middle class, but you don't give a fuck. So,
ooh, you don't give a fudge. No, I mean, really, to tell you the truth, everything you said is so accurate, too, as well, because, you know, there is no, like we said, there is no anti-war party, and now they're just trying to mimic what Bernie Sanders, it's like they thought, how did Bernie get all this momentum? How did he get all this following? Well, he was talking about giving them something. Well, maybe if we give them a better deal, the people will get behind us. No, Chuck Schumer. No, Nancy Pelosi. See, Bernie Sanders has always stood for these values. He's been pushing this stuff for 30 years now. You can't just come along after all the money you take, you know, from special interest, and all of a sudden turn around and say, well, we're going to turn around and give you the better deal. It's never going to work. Everybody's looking at you like it's a joke. You need to go.
And the problem is that for some it does work. And because they're using this fear of Trump and the MIG resistance to sway people like anything's better than Trump, you know? And unfortunately, with the justices that the Trump administration has appointed, that is actually, that's how they maintain their hold on people. So what we need to do is not focus on Russia or Trump and just vote them out through electing good people who actually care.
Yeah.
That is the only way we're going to do this. We can't rely on impeachment. We would have to impeach all of the entire administration.
You get Pence if you impeach Trump, so.
And so we have to look forward and look at what Bernie Sanders is doing right now. Bernie Sanders is running for re-election in the Senate, and he's getting a lot of criticism from the centrist Democrats because...
Wait, he gets criticism from the people who go, you're not a Democrat!
Well, but the Vermont Democrats,
Break it down, Fee. Tell them.
They said they passed a resolution over the weekend supporting his move, and they are proclaiming that he would still be considered a member of the party for all purposes and entitled to all the rights and privileges that come with such membership at the state and federal level.
What up, then?
So this is like, it says, it's hard to explain to people from our state how we made peace with it as a party, how Bernie's made peace with it. We're on board. And that was from the Vermont State Chair, Turjay Anderson.
What's up, yo? He's a Democrat, yo.
So this is the answer you give to when they say, oh, but he's not even a Democrat. And so what he's going to do is if he gets a nomination, which he will, he's going to deny it and decline it and run as an independent. And people are so upset. They're like, but that's not fair. But when it's the Democrats doing that, when they're like, oh, we can make backroom deals and support who we want and do all this because that's the party says that's okay. It's okay. But when he does this.
Yeah.
And, Bernie Sanders also, he said that we should focus on the issues. He said, I welcome the Vermont Democratic Party's work to build bridges, not walls. Mm-hmm. Let's fight for our children's future and not over labels. And that's my entire thinking. Like, why are we so caught up on labels? It always is about the issues. It's about what he's doing as a senator, what he's done as a senator. And all the Democrats are using is hit pieces and lies to manipulate people and target progressives when they should actually be working with progressives if they want to win.
Why did they try? Why are they so? I mean, really, how can they? Why are they so stupid to try to rebrand their own stuff in a better deal rather than just lead with Bernie Sanders as an example and say, okay, we're Bernie Sanders. We're going to get the Democratic Party is going to move towards his base. We're going to move towards his issues, and we're going to get behind him. Why do they try to rebrand their own stuff? I mean, does Nancy Pelosi not look at her approval numbers and see that it's down in the dumps, especially when it comes to millennials? They don't want her. They don't care for her. I mean, who is the absurd idiot that says, let's just rebrand this stuff and call it a better deal? The kids will get behind us. I mean, where did this
Because it's
come
always
from?
worked. It's always worked until this generation. Because, this generation grew up with the internet. We grew up with holding people accountable, roasting people. Memes, we know what's happening before they think we know it.
Yep.
And they're not going to get away with it any longer. But the reason is that they keep doing this is because they keep getting money.
Yep.
It's all about the money. If I'm getting money from insurance companies, from big pharma, from private prisons, I'm going to do what my rulers tell me to do, right? Because I'm a corporate, corrupt Democrat politician. It doesn't matter what they are. It's just they're following the money. It's all about the money.
Well, we have other primaries coming around. We talked about getting new people in place for Bernie Sanders when he does become the president in 2020. You always talk about we got to get those people inside the Senate. We got to get them inside the Congress and the House now. So standing behind progressives. And we just came over this long weekend. We had this long weekend at the Bernie's Diner. We also had Lead Camp on Thursday night. We've been in this progressive just pool of candidates and issues and activists and whatnot. So this is going to be very important. We have some primaries tonight. There are some Our Revolution people running. Guys in Kentucky. We had the show in Georgia and Arkansas. Texas has their runoff of the runoff. Laura Mosner's over there and stuff. Yeah. So support a progressive. Get on to your Our Revolution website. Take a look at their national supports, their local supports. DSA is another good one. We're just 2 weeks out from today.
Yeah.
From the first Super Tuesday. And
before that, and before Super Tuesday, Bernie Sanders is going to be in town in Anaheim protesting with workers at Disney. He's not going there to go to Disney. He's going there to protest them. Freaking
once again,
awesome.
Standing up for the workers who've been, a blind eye has been turned on these people. Once again, their benefits, everything, their way of living has been going down, down, down. When the truckers are in need, he's there. When people of service are in need, he's there. And now the workers of Disney are in need. And guess who's showing up?
Bernie Sanders.
And ain't Hillary Clinton.
And you know what? Like Bernie, there's a local activist here. His name is Mel Tillerkaratney. I really don't know how to say his last name.
No, he's a Tillerkaratney. He was awesome. Yeah.
I've done a few things with him for the She Does movement. We went to City Hall, and so Los Angeles approved billions of dollars in budget, and then specifically to open shelters. So right now they're at City Hall in Koreatown. Well, City Hall advocating for a Korean shelter to be built.
Yeah.
But there are hundreds of people there. Actually, they're like outside the hallway. They're around in protest of this shelter. So there are more people in protest of a shelter. Why? Because they don't want it to look bad. They don't want it to be built around schools. They don't want it to look really shitty. Do you know what looks shitty? Seeing people out on the sidewalks, seeing people out in the streets, seeing people out there at every corner that I walked through that I didn't see before. Because years ago, I did not see that. And now everyone's there. So that is disgusting. If it disgusts you more to see homeless people as a nuisance than actually the humanity, the part that why is someone not without a house? Why is someone laying on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
You know, I think we need more compassion, and these activists are doing that. They're doing that with the movement, and that kind of sentiment reminds me of Bernie Sanders, because that's actually being out there, being on the streets and fighting for people.
Yeah. You know what? There's nowhere left for these people to go. It's overflooded now. There's so many hundreds of thousands of people across America on the streets that are homeless. There's nowhere left to go. And like Mel said when he was leaving, somebody's going to say to you that it's okay for that person to be on the floor. No. Yeah. She does deserve the proper shelter. She does deserve the proper medication. She does deserve the proper health care, especially when you're talking about these women who've been battered, abused, and raped, and now they're on the streets with no help. This is a problem. It's an immediate problem. We have to stop it. We have to stop the bleeding now. And guys like that, Mel, are out there, and I got to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. Seeing you on that panel next to Pat Harris and Delane Easton this weekend was a treat. And thank you from the bottom of our heart here at the Convo Couch. We went and got a chance to see the showers, people coming in. And like he says, Mel said, pay attention to the people going into the showers and when they come out. Wow.
Just something as simple as a shower makes a world of difference to these people. Think about that. And you know, and without this movement, without the activists, without the She Does, without Mel, Mayor Garcetti would not have done enough.
Not
because
a damn
we were
thing.
pressuring him. We were on social media. We were following him. Like we were on his shadow. Like we were right behind him. And activism works. A lot of people think, you know, protesting and doing all this stuff doesn't do anything, and that's very wrong. It really does, especially when you have the numbers.
Yeah. So, what else do we have to unpack? Anything else?
Tonight we're going to be at the Costa Mesa Barn Burner, which is going to feature many, many progressive candidates running in Orange County and also in LA County, which is nice because that's kind of happened with us too. We've kind of brought the merger of the Orange County and the LA County. Some people don't know each other. And that's the whole thing, is we need to build a network that's cohesive, that's structured and organized, because that is what Republicans and establishment Dems are good at. We need to be better at it, because we are so inclusive and, you know, so laid back sometimes, because that's just how progressives are, that we need to have a little bit more structured.
I can't wait tonight when Joey Yakuza gets to meet David Hildebrand. I gotta watch his face. I'm gonna take a picture. He's gonna be all smiling. Hey, but you know what? When I meet Gail McLaughlin for the first time today, I'm gonna be like,
I'm very excited.
You know, Kevin Kinsinger will be on there. District 48. Maria Estrada's coming up. We got some people there. It's just some great.
We have some Green Party. Miguel Zuniga
will be there as well. You know, so I mean, we love Miguel. It's just going to be another fun time. And like moving forward, we talked about this. David Hildebrand is going to be there tonight. He talked about a coalition moving forward. I think we've repeatedly said what happened in Pennsylvania, you have to pay attention. The way the Costa brothers went down, but it was a movement of DSA and Our Revolution together endorsing, getting in the same room. People like Melissa Michelson are out there doing that. They're kind of getting these people in the same room together, and it still needs to happen. The magic that happened over the weekend, where we were able to get two people feuding in that room together so they can work out their difference, because it's important. It's important for the movement that we move together cohesively, and tonight is going to be a big part of doing that.
And as someone said too, the 2020 elections begin like right now. They've already begun.
Yeah.
Like we are working not just for these elections in November, but also for 2020. And that's including the presidential elections. And if we really want to get Trump out of the House, we need to do better than look at what he's doing. We need to offer the American people real, tangible results.
Yeah, which the Democrats are still doing. The establishment is still doing. They're still playing the anti-Trump thing. They have nothing to offer. There was a poll that was taken over 6 months ago. Who do you trust in Congress the Democrats or the Republicans to run the country. And it was somewhere along the lines of 56% trusted the Democrats to 42% trusted the Republicans. Now it's almost neck and neck. It's like 44 to 45, I think they said. So it's going to come down neck and neck. We're going to see what's going to happen. A lot of progressive Democrats have been winning over the moderate Democrats in some of these primaries. Some have lost, but we're going to see what's going to come to fruition, especially on June 5th.
I'm going to call it right now. If the Democrats don't shift their thinking, or if progressives don't win in 2020, we will see Donald Trump be president again.
Yeah. And
don't be surprised.
That's just the crux of it. That is just the crux of it. If they don't change completely, they're done. And, I really hope that we could have amounted. And that's the thing. I think we started late. We didn't have the groups together. I like the two candidates running against Nancy Pelosi. But as far as beating them, I don't know. But once again, you got to support a progressive now. Because getting into the runoff, anything could happen. There's going to be a big anti-push in California against these establishment Democrats from the person who gets in. So it has to be somebody who can get in that's a progressive.
That doesn't take corporate money.
Exactly. Yeah, a De Leon situation is not going to be the best situation for us. But that's just one race. We still got Gail McLaughlin. We got all these small races.
Dianne Feinstein.
Dianne Feinstein is going to be a tough one with De Leon. That's the problem, because you got kind of like an incumbent Democratic establishment person and a Democratic establishment funded machine coming right up behind it.
California politics is tough because there's so many factions, and the neoliberal centrists hold a stronghold here, and people just are so complacent, and Sacramento gets left behind. I was talking in a group chat to people. Sacramento is like a cesspool of corruption within the Democratic Party, but no one really talks about it because everyone's always focused on LA. But we need to start kind of putting out our feelers throughout the state. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching.
It's beautiful in Moscow today, by the way. It's almost 8:20.
This Russian bot right here.
She's got a date with Putin, so she's got to go.
My love.
Vladimir, you look very, very Princess Leia today. You got your Bernie Sanders on, and you got your little Princess Leia thing over there in the background anyways. But listen, if you got time, come to Costa Mesa tonight. All the information's on our Facebook or website. If you like what you saw and you want to support independent media,
subscribe and follow us on Twitter at The Convo Couch. And I'm Fiorella Isabel, and this is
Pasta Jardula.
Thank you, guys. See you later.